All right, we are live, and the New York Mets have lost a series.
Finally, the Mets have lost a series. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. And I don't want anyone freaking out. The Mets sky is not falling.
Yep, the Mets community is in disarray right now. We have the Frank acolytes, which if I saw Frank is in, they welcome him to the group. I guess he might have just joined. Like, that is the most dangerous spot of all. It's like a cult leader just finding like a bunch of people,
Absolutely.
like going to an orphanage, basically.
Jim Jones just showed up at Jonestown, basically. You know, like we're gonna see they're gonna start drinking the Kool-Aid. They'll be dead by fucking Wednesday.
And that's what I need the people to do. I don't need you guys drinking Frank's Kool-Aid. I need you to drink your Coors Lights right now. This is our time. This is when we need the beer that is made to chill. Kevin, cold lagered and cold filtered. Both of them. Not one. They could have went one or the other. Probably save some money along the way. Nope.
Both?
Cold lagered and cold filtered. It's 100% recyclable materials on this as well. So when I need a beer to help me unwind from our first series loss of the season against the
fucking Mariners. You know what? These 16-ouncers are nice too.
Yeah, the big boys.
The pounders are nice.
The George Kirby, the tall boys.
Yeah. Fucking 914, stand up.
So when I need the beer that's made to chill, I reach for Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. We're going out to the Rockies this week. We're going to see those Blue Mountains on our TV. But for now, we have to relive.
There's so much to talk about. The one game we won was one of the most fun Mets, Mariners, middle of May baseball games you'll ever fucking witness. The two games we lost, what did we score? 8 runs yesterday? 7. When we score 7 runs, we're going to win more often than not.
Yep.
When Max Scherzer gives up 1 run, we're going to win more often than not. It's unfathomable that we lost both those games in what should have been a sweep, but it's like I take solace in the fact that the team had like 2 aberrations. That offense is going to score more often than not, and then when they do, that pitching is going to usually be good enough to get you a win when you have 7 runs. And sometimes those games are going to happen. They haven't happened for us yet. They just happen to happen on the same weekend against Mets West, against the Mariners, which makes it sting a little bit more. But I if it was we played like our best ball and everything clicked and we still lost, then you start to get scared. But like, I don't know. Drew Smith is not going to fucking go scoreless the entire fucking season. Yep. Max Scherzer is going to keep doing his thing. The offense scores 7 in a day that somehow the Mariners scratch out 8. It's like it's shitty and it happens, and it was bound to happen eventually. It just sucks that it was right there. It's that mini series was like a lot like the World Series, where it was like we should have won all of this and somehow we lost the majority of it. So I don't say the sky is falling. It's a little tough because it's like we were riding. We came in so hot. Not only did we not lose any series, we won every series, and then we split, and then eventually we lose, and it cooled off a little bit. But still in first by 5.5 games or something, still top of the league, and I don't think there's any reason to get like all bent out of shape.
No, and I'll tell you, if any people are watching on the YouTube, again, subscribe to the YouTube, leave 5-star reviews on the podcast as well, because I'm telling you, I've already lost one podcast. If I lose this one, I'm going to be... You think the happy guy is going to be happy after he loses 2/3 of his podcast? Because we're fucking... We're ready to suck dick to keep the basement lights on. I don't want to know what I'm going to do to keep the Mets win the World Series, and I can't fucking say a thing about it on the company I've been working for 6 years.
This will survive. This will survive. It's my solemn promise to you, no matter what. Like cockroaches, the Mets ain't going anywhere.
Like you said it though, and I didn't even realize it until you said it. Like if we just flip the offensive games, because it's like the Scherzer game we don't score, and then the game where we get shit rocked. It's like if they had just, it just makes me so angry. So
that's baseball, Susan.
Yep, that's baseball.
And then the game in the middle was probably one that we didn't deserve to win.
Yeah,
we
blew a 4-0 lead. We don't deserve to win that.
Right.
Yes.
And all right, let's talk about that game.
I wanted to lead with Barstool at the ballpark.
Yeah, okay. So I unfortunately was not there on Saturday night. What a game for it to be like. At first I was like, oh, this sucks. The weather's shitty. There's going to be delays and all that. And then it ends up being like as much of a classic as a regular season game can be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Patty Mazzy hitting the game-winning home run.
Bro. That dude to round the bases with his finger to the sky.
I didn't even see it. Did he do that?
Bro, he was celebrating like Jose Reyes
Kirk Gibson
style.
fucking pumping his fist.
Like I couldn't believe for a dude.
I don't believe what I just saw.
For a dude who I thought I was like, this dude's gonna get sent down tomorrow for this. You guys probably didn't. What did it feel like being at the game? Because watching it on TV with all the mix-ups was like embarrassing. when they couldn't get on the same page. I mean, it was like 10 times in a row. One of the Winker at-bats, he was throwing his hands up. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I felt like we were a Little League team. The video I sent you guys of Bassett, where at one point he goes, what? Like, looking at you, like, what are you doing? Are you even a major league catcher?
He threw a letter down instead of a number.
So for that dude to then, that guy should have put his head down and rounded the bases as fast as he could have, and instead he's like, hi-oh, Sammy Sosa running out there with a fucking American flag.
I mean, the first inning was as bad as like you thought it was, but after that, you barely even noticed it, in my opinion.
Oh, it was brutal, dude. I mean, it was nonstop.
It's crazy though, because at Barstool Ballpark, you're talking, you're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I realize we've never said this on the podcast. And when you go into Barstool Ballpark, you scan your ticket down low, you go up to the section, and then usually there's a guy with like a jacket or like a name tag on, and then he'll scan your ticket to then give you the bracelet. People are like, we don't know what the fuck to do. We've never told them, so that one's on us, guys. I apologize for that. But you know how it is. Like you're talking, shoeies are going down, the whole
that
kind
one
of thing.
Was wild. The first one was all right. Like there's a lot of shit-faced people and a lot of chants. This one, the shoeies, people chugging.
There were
I mean, it was
like
out of,
several
yeah, you were
of
at both,
those.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that one seemed absolutely out of control, which is what I want. I love how everybody kind of does. Like that night was funny because there's a 7 line who does their thing.
Yep.
And I think they're very baseball oriented and they're very like Mets oriented. Barstool at the Ballpark, which is like a party. I want people to be chugging out of their shoes and getting shit faced. And then there was the fucking George Kirby section, which was like hundreds deep. That was crazy. He had a whole fucking section of Westchester kids. They cut to him a couple times. Pinked polo pop collars like it's fucking 2003, chugging tall boys, guys, girls, everybody chanting. It was like I said it was like Anchorman. I wanted to see a big fight between all the three different groups. But that game, man,
Was it as because like it felt fun as shit for us, but that was our section of people, and obviously anytime there's a game where you're the lead, you lose the lead, you come back, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But Tacoma was like the most electric atmosphere I felt in a while for a game like this.
Because of Tacoma and Gary.
Okay.
Gary did a great job of being like the crowd is fucking electric. You could kind of hear it. I felt it just because it was a back and forth. Blew it, came back. They came back. Winker, the whole nine. But I don't think I would have known it if it wasn't for like following along on Twitter and listening to Gary. But they do such a good job of conveying that. So once I knew that was the case, I was like more invested too, being like, all right, like City is rocking right now.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that was delay because you had that hour worth, which I was like, everyone can just start drinking now because it's 3 hours of the 7th, whichever comes first, and obviously the 3 hours came first. But then you could just keep buying beers if you wanted to afterwards.
Right.
You're not cut off then, and it was. I'm telling you, that's the other thing. So I'm like, all right, well, if I'm not gonna be in the podcast game longer, and if Darren, whenever he hangs up the 7 line, I'm just gonna just keep Barstool the Ballpark going as my source of income.
Absolutely. No, dude,
it was
I'm
so much
happy.
fucking fun.
We will do Barstool at the Ballpark, whether it's Barstool at the Ballpark or something else for the rest of our lives. It's amazing.
You saw, I mean, like I did the photo dump where it's like you have guys wearing like, we had the Robles jersey on. We had a dude who had the New York 87 font tatted on his arm. You have people shut the fuck up, Frank shirts. You see all the shirts from the Barstool stuff.
I would have rearranged my entire life as I know it if I had known Za was going to be there. I was so upset when I found out Za was there.
Doing shoeies too.
I know.
Like
and then that was so funny when he woke up the next morning and he was like I'm more hungover than I've ever been. You were like,
and he said like the Mets crowd is absolute scenes or something.
Which is
like
coming from a footballer, from a soccer dude.
Yeah, yes.
Who knows rowdy crowds. I've said it. I said it. I think when we had Darren on, my dream is to become enough of like a influential fan that I can somehow get the whole stadium fucking going. Which actually is a good time to talk about the wave. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If you want to do the wave, like fucking whatever. You paid money, you come to the park, maybe you got your kids with you, whatever. You do that like in a blowout. You do that in the first inning. You do it on a sunny day when one of the teams are up 10. When it's like against a pseudo rival with this Winker thing that we've got going in a close game, in an important game, like just don't do it then. I'm not gonna be one of these guys who tells everybody how to behave. I actually think the pendulum goes the other direction, and it's like the people who are like physically and emotionally bent out of shape about the wave they're weirder than the people who like to do the wave.
Because they're like, no, I want you to watch this and pay attention, and you just see guys scratching themselves for like
It's
59 seconds
it's
out
a
of a
stop
minute.
and go sport, There's not much going on. And actually, when it was happening at the first Barstool at the Ballpark that I was at, I'm fucking sitting over there all Grinch, all grump, like, why are we doing the wave? And the section directly across on the other side of the field from us did it like it was a movie. Like everybody hit it perfectly, and I was like, that was pretty cool. That looked pretty fucking cool. But there's a time and a place. And so far, there's been this rash of Mets fans who want to do the wave, and they do it at the wrong time. And I think it's mostly shit-faced people. So if you want it to be a party, it's not going to be like a nerd baseball crowd sitting there scoring it. It's going to be people doing dumb shit. But it's embarrassing. It's just a weird, baseball has these unwritten rules that we talk about as players and fans, and it's like you just don't do them or you're a fucking loser. You're a nerd, and we're being nerds and losers right now.
Hey, man. Peer pressure is a motherfucker. You're going to be the only person sitting on your section too, so I'm sure there's people doing that as well. Yeah, and it's just like, look at the dickhead right there, the old dickhead. So that happened during our game. I didn't even know if there was a wave during our game.
I think there was a smattering of it.
It was during the Bassett's last inning. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Which man, I wanted him to get out of that inning so bad. That you know what, Gary said something that you guys obviously didn't hear because you were there. I think it was probably. It might have been before Winker's home run. He was like, this game just has an uneasy feeling to it.
Really?
And it did. Like, at least at home, it had a bad juju to it because it was like...
You just don't get those runs in, and you know it's going to come back to bite you.
There was a lot of that happening. The Mazika-Bassett mix-up kept happening. He was throwing scoreless innings, but they were tightrope walking every time, and it just felt like...
108 pitches through 5 2/3, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right. And he ends up giving up the one.
He's such a fucking battler, though. I fucking love Bassett, man.
He is such a gamer. That's why I thought he was gonna kill Mazika. I was like, I think he's gonna fucking kill this guy. I'm more afraid of Bassett than I am Scherzer. I know Scherzer has the reputation, but Bassett is fucking scary.
Well,
because he's not a $130 million man. You know what I mean? He's like, I'll fucking kill you right now. I don't got shit. I don't give a fuck.
I don't have my next contract yet. Yeah.
Right. But it just had a weird feeling, and the fact that we came away with that win. I also want to say, I know this is not like a big. We're not talking like Magic and Bird, Celtics, Lakers type shit. What the Mets have with Winker is the best thing in one of the best things in sports. It's like what every rivalry should be, because no one's taking it too far. Yep. No one's like harassing his family. He's not being like a real actual asshole to us. He just like butt fucks us every time he plays us, and he has some fun with it. We talk all sorts of shit about him, and he doesn't cry. It's awesome. But I love, on the outside looking in, people are like, what's your deal with Winker? Like, why don't you like him? And they all think that like we are actually like hating. But everyone who knows, if you know, you know, and it's awesome. And the fact I told it to him when we were talking before the series. I said, you're going deep this weekend, and he did it in arguably the biggest fucking spot. And then the fact that he came up top 9, 2 outs. Did you guys see? I don't know if I tweeted it. SNY gave him the side by side treatment where they
versus everyone else,
where it's Diaz on one side and him on the other, where it's like we are officially making this like a very like,
it's like a Hollywood movie
moment.
yeah
it's
Eckersley Gibson again, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
and then to strike him out, I mean, Diaz mowed them all down. It was like, it really was a movie. But it's just May against the Mariners, so we're like losing our minds, and everyone else is like, what the fuck, dude?
Like, the only people that know what's going on is like Mets fans, Jesse Winker, Mariners fans, I guess some Reds fans maybe tuning into the game. Like,
right, that's like basically it.
If you're a casual fan watching that game, you have no idea what's going on.
You don't give a fuck. You're just like, who cares who wins or loses this game?
And it was basically just like, I think just one series before that where it was like he had the home run or whatever, he had the catch, he had the wave, the Instagram comments, which was a big part of you, and then he shut down the Instagram comments, and like it's not like people were saying like fuck you, I'm gonna kill you, and they were just throwing the wave thing. Yeah. And then he said on the pod, and then he came on the pod, right? He reached out to us, was like, I'd love to come on the pod. And he was like, he's like, I didn't even mean to shut him off the comments. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, like which you could tell. And listen, I've lived through Reggie. I lived through fucking Trae Young last year. I've seen all these. I mean, we talk about all the Mets killers. DeJong. I don't want to say their names on the podcast.
Oh, wait, speaking of Paul DeJong, he's in AAA right now, so we don't have to worry about him this week.
You can continue. That anymore. Yeah. Thank the fucking Lord. Even like Boston Scott with the Giants just kills us every time. And I've seen them all. This is the first one that's actually enjoyable. Other than,
well, let's be clear. Like we've for the most part. But we've also, for the most part, got the better of him, and or his victories haven't really mattered. Like, if Winker starts hitting 3-run bombs, keep us out of the... Luckily, he's on the Mariners, so he probably...
If he was on the Phillies, it'd be entirely different.
Yeah. Yes. If he's on the Phillies, I'm not, like...
Like, I hate Kyle Schwarber. Like,
no... Yes. I mean, I don't know. If Kyle Schwarber, like, DM'd me tomorrow and was like... Like, the conversations that we have, Winker's like, I fucking love Citi Field. I love what your fans bring to the game. I wish every park was this way. I told him, I was like, come on over. Uncle Stevie will pay you. And he just said no comment. I said, what do you think about Chase and Shreve, which I'm demoting him out of Blue Mountain territory.
Fair enough.
You give up that bomb, Winker can take his dick out for all I care.
Yep.
Him being like, fucking go. Don't give up the bomb then. And I just said, what do you think about that? He goes, no comment. He knows what he's doing, you know? But, like, if it was more impactful for us, I don't know how much I'd love Jesse Winker.
So
that's why it's perfect. It's just this perfect balance of shit talking. We'll see you now like once a year, unfortunately. I wish he was still in the NL just for a little bit more activity. But also, I'm happy he's not because he absolutely crushes us.
Yep.
But Phil said it best, too, when he came up in, like, the 9th inning. Phil's like, any rational baseball fan would be like, man, I hope he doesn't get a single here. I hope he doesn't hit a fucking 800-foot home run.
Yeah, exactly.
We are so broken brain.
True. It's so true.
And his quote here that, got retweeted a bunch was, I'm going to be honest with you. I love them. They're an amazing group of people. They are very passionate about their team and their city. I can understand the passion. I respect it. This thing we've got going on is special. And for people that don't know or might have saw the tweet or whatever, before the game, he reached out to you. He was like, hey, tell your boys to come on down. I want to say what's up to them. It was like, I don't know, it was because it was the delay. I don't know. It was like a half hour before game time. We just walked down. Just getting down to, like, the field was kind of weird because we didn't have tickets down there.
Right.
And the guy was like, one of the Mariners players asked to see us, and he's like,
he let you?
Okay,
That's
sure.
cool, because I was wondering how that was going to happen.
I was like, dude, look, we have like a group of people up there that we have to get back to. Those are like our people. I was like, but we just want to say what's up. Dude came into the stands.
Yeah, because so first of all, he texted me, DM'd me at like 7:15. Which you think, like, we'll talk about pregame routines in a second.
Yeah.
Some guys are dead-ass serious about that. So I got back to him at, like, 7:30 because I didn't see it right away. I thought he was going to be like, sorry, man, like, too late. I got to get ready. And then I was like, where should they go? Because I was thinking, like, did he leave passes or something? Because I was like, he's not going to want to come out to you guys. And he fucking did it.
And he comes into the stands, which a baseball player in uniform coming in the stands, it was like you had opened up a fresh bag of chips at a beach and the seagulls started. Because everyone has their balls. All like the cutest kids you've ever seen are like, Mr. Winker. And he talked to us for like 10 minutes just bullshit.
The man.
Was like, I love this place so much. He goes,
I'm so mad I missed it.
He goes, when I come here and the fans, he goes, you don't even need to drink coffee beforehand. I'm sure he wanted to say like greenies or whatever the fuck they're using now.
He censored it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
And he's like, I love it here. He's like, you let me know once season's over. I'd love to come on, do a stream with you guys, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Jesse, whatever the fuck you want to do.
I was like, you can be a host on the show, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
that homer was so pretty, too. And, like, he, like, griffied that shit almost with a swing and the
212
stare.
average, you can't hit lefties, and he hits a fucking bomb off of our
That might be the only lefty homer he hits this year.
Absolutely. I mean, he crushed it. He stares. The fact that he had, like... That home run is so rare that he should have been like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it!" But he was like, "Of course I did."
And then he waved to the crowd at the end.
He's so fucking cocky, so fucking awesome.
And I was getting like death threats because they're like, because I put the picture of us all up, just saying like,
I got a bunch. You're a fraud fan.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to tell you? I love the guy.
He's a sick son of a bitch because like he does it.
I
so
hate what he
nice
does to us. He's actually the worst kind because it's like. I said it's like Newman. It's like fucking
He's
Winker.
killing me softly. Lauren Hill said it best.
Yeah.
Because like he just does it all with a smile. And he goes, where are you guys sitting? I said, we're right behind you. We'll be motherfucking you. And people were chanting, fuck you, Winker, from like the first
That's
inning
what I love
on.
about him too. I mean, I call him a cocksucker, a motherfucker, a son of a like. I don't hold back, and he doesn't ever take it. Too
personally.
seriously, whatever.
And he was throwing balls up to our crowd. I said, that's where we are. And he was just throwing balls.
Awesome.
I was like, what the fuck? I just saw a ball just fly up in the 300.
Yeah, because it's up there. It's not like one of the little lobs. You gotta.
And then what he does, he has a fucking care package, and he sends someone to let me go get it.
I'm so mad I fucking missed this.
I had to carry around a Mariners hat all
Dude,
game.
I'll be honest. I love. it's probably because of my love for Griffey and those
It's
teams.
a sick logo, though. And he wrote a fucking love note to you in there and everything.
To KFC. What did I say?
I think we're nice being friends or something like that.
Mary, happy to be friends. I love this one. I'm just riding the wave. Yes, son of a bitch. I'm gonna cry, man. He's the best, dude.
Yeah.
He's everything that like. I wish there was more rivalries like that because everything inevitably gets taken too far, and you have to fucking apologize or call off the dogs. And like I hate that fan who was yelling at Frank. Like I yell at Frank. No one else can yell at Frank. It's like I can make fun of my mom. You can't make fun of my mom. I can tell Frank to go fuck himself and die in a fire. You don't say shit to Frank.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Darren. I was like, Darren, can we like figure this out? And I was like, what's the point of it? It's like
there's nothing to, there's an asshole. He's a fucking asshole.
Tweeted him on Twitter. Like that's all. Like Twitter's fucking fake life.
And even that,
keep
you
that
shouldn't do
within
it.
boundaries. Like, hey, shut the fuck up, Frank. But not like, hey, Frank, fuck you, and getting like. There's nobody who wins from that.
No, I hate that.
The thing about Winker too, and we've turned the show into like sucking his dick. But it was like
he's got a great dick too.
He
It's like 7 inches.
Like even the night before on Friday night, he's like, "Let's go Rangers!" Like having fun with the crowd. Like that's kind of the thing that separates him.
He's a
from
Buffalo
everyone
guy,
else.
right? So he's like
a Bruins fan,
relatively,
but he's a hockey guy,
right?
And he appreciates that all the fans
they're going
love
up
that
to
shit.
Toronto right now, and he said he's got like his whole friends and family. Like
really?
all of them are going to be there, like the Kirby section. The Kirby section had me goddamn near rooting for that guy. I
didn't see that at all.
Yeah,
either.
no, they were down like I think it was like third baseline, maybe the first level, second level. I mean, I think I either misheard or Gary misspoke. I think he said there was 300 people. Is that possible?
For a rookie, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
he's
second start, so I mean,
yeah,
what's
and
his
I mean,
right?
he
I don't
was,
know.
and I think that maybe not 300. There had to be a lot of people because he was clearly overthrowing.
Did he go to
juiced
school?
up
Did he go
and-
to college in New York too?
I have
Is
no
that-
idea.
Maybe just,
I know he's from Rye, New York.
Yeah.
I don't know where he
Yeah.
went to college.
I was just going to
tall
Dragon
motherfucker.
Coaster or some shit.
Yeah,
Young Playland.
I like that. That's a good nickname, the Dragon Coaster. But yeah, he was overthrowing it and clearly like when he gave up. There was a moment I think he gave up a home run or a hit or whatever. Or no, the wild pitch. When he had a wild pitch, he was like demonstratively like fuck, So he was clearly in his head on that one. But anyway, I mean, as far as
let's just come to this thing. Winker up, and the last at bat was fucking terrifying. If Kellenic was up that last at bat.
Oh, my God.
The fact he got sent down right before the series, that feels like something that we would have done in the past.
But you know what? It makes sense to me.
Oh, I'm 100% for it. I
Yeah.
think it was a great move by them.
Right.
He's struggling. He's in the bigs. He was facing Bassett, fucking Scherzer, and Carrasco 3 days in a row with a bunch of New York fans who are going to hate him
Who
for
hate
doing
him for
nothing.
like a very like loud asshole crew, group of fans. Struggling, like you said, young guy that has promise. So right now is when you gotta make sure it doesn't fuck him up for the future. Like and it's a interleague game in May. Like why would you risk Kellenic getting something in his head or whatever for that?
He's batting 140, so
Yeah,
it's not
like,
like,
I mean,
it's like on borderline. It's like
he
probably
probably
needs
should be
something.
down like for the year. You know what I mean? I if we had Alvarez up right now and he was batting like $1 something, I'd be like, he's not fucking right. And by the way, he's not ready, right?
He's
a lot
still,
of his numbers recently.
He's struggling in Double-A right now. But look, he's 20 years
But he's
old. That's
supposed to be.
normal.
right.
Yes.
I mean, people just get so ahead of themselves, and I feel like the Mariners did in a sense. Like, why did they bring him up? I mean, I guess his numbers were so goddamn good in the minors, right?
There's
that
a very
he
big
crushes.
problem when it comes to prospects. Like these guys, they get hyped up when they're 19, 20 years old. Major League Baseball is very hard to play, and we're
Right.
expecting these guys to be like the next Ken Griffey and
Right.
shit. When you're putting unrealistic expectations into their heads, and
It
when they
can
don't
fuck your career.
when they don't meet them,
Right.
yeah, like we're gonna be like, what happened?
Right. It's like when you, if I was a team, if I was a GM or something, I don't know how you can do it, but I would like try to keep, like, I love the guy. I would try to keep a guy like Michael Mayer, I don't want to say his name, the guy we all follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
I would try to like put him out of business, to be honest. Like I don't mean that like to say anything
No,
bad
it's
about him.
not an
I'm just
insulting
I'm just saying
whatsoever,
like
yeah.
I would try to. The only way you're gonna know about my prospects is if you come to fucking the Rumble Ponies, if you come to see the B Mets, like if you come to Port St. Lucie, because we just. I mean, I've not watched him other than a couple 10-second clips of Alvarez, and I'm ready to give him a nickname and put him on a
Because
team.
nobody watches prospects. We only know about prospects from what prospect writers write about them.
Right.
If you're
And
telling
then-
me
and
this guy's
prospect
gonna,
writers are going to make it a thing because they want to have a fucking
yeah,
you know,
if you're
and the
gonna tell me
highlights.
this guy's gonna be
Right,
great,
which are
I'm gonna
always
expect him
good.
to be great. Yeah.
exactly right,
Yeah.
right. And,
Well, and I want to just say,
and especially the Mets, from Last Things Village to fucking Fernando Martinez. List goes
Yeah.
on and on.
We're all guilty of it.
Right,
It's just
right.
like normal human reaction.
and I don't know how good Mazika usually is behind the plate. But
Oh, not
do you-
good at all.
Do you
But
think,
that was crazy.
But do you think like Alvarez is just going to come up and they're like, oh man, this is like throwing to my guy back home? Like he has
Right.
to,
He
like
has to
the
learn,
catching, the catcher job is such a harder job than anything else.
I would probably say the most unsung, hero in sports. It's like,
By a
'cause just like
million
an
yards.
average, regular day for you behind the plate, you're expected to do everything, seamlessly. It's almost like being an umpire in a way where it's like kind of
Yes.
thankless,
Yeah.
But
of
it's like
ignorance, man.
obviously the most important thing on the field other than like the pitcher himself.
Yeah.
So I
And with a
mean,
veteran staff too, it's not like we're just some team that has a couple young guys on the rise and we're hoping to like
no,
be
these
good
guys
in
are
the future.
all who have
we're ready to
expectations.
fucking
They're
win
ready.
now.
Yeah, they want.
So the McCann, as the guy who would have become the designated McCann defender, I'm feeling pretty fucking good right now.
What happened, first of all? How did that go from 0 to 60 so quick?
I think
he all of a sudden out 6 weeks. Like
someone said maybe it happened on like a catcher's interference or something, like Nelson Cruz him in his hand. I don't know. Maybe it was a game like I fell asleep in.
I was gonna say I had my kids a couple times in a lot of these games recently, and I like haven't. Was there like an incident or an injury or like it was kind of just after the fact, right?
It was probably in the 8-3 game where I just zoned out completely.
Did you see anything? Did you see when McCann got hurt?
No, I just saw.
Weird to have a 6-week timeline for an injury that nobody. It's like some DeGrom shit. Where it's like, wait, what?
And the best part was McCann said, "Oh yeah, I'll be probably back in there tomorrow." Then to get the MRI,
No,
it's
you
like,
won't,
oh,
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a catcher. Your brain is broken. You don't even think. You're like, oh yeah, everything hurts on me.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, those guys are gamers. They're like hockey players playing baseball.
Yeah.
And then Nito. I mean, I was thinking like Nito was gonna have to come in. I was like, Mazika can't catch this game right now, but thank God he didn't because Zeke goes deep.
I don't know if they'll have to trade for a catcher, but like I want to give
Probably
Mazika.
should.
I want to give Mazika maybe 2 or 3 more starts before I figure out in my mind like should they make any move.
I love the guy. He's a stoolie. He had some of the most like historic little trivia stats that you'll ever know.
The walk-off king.
The walk-off, the fielder's choice king. That picture of him with his shirt off. I love him. I would love. I'll give him like JV honorary guy status. You know what I mean? But like, we gotta call a spade a spade. Like we need somebody right now. We can't be punting in any positions, really. You know?
It's so weird too because I feel like our system's always like this. It's like always so top heavy. It's like I can't trade like Mauricio for some like because you also don't want to break the bank for a catcher because it's like Alvarez is coming at some point, right? So we're kind of we'll definitely do like a trade deadline or like guys I want.
It'd be so sweet if he was just like one more year. Like I feel like one more season. He could be called up early, you know.
I could see that. I just don't think this year.
But that's what I mean. And
it's
like,
too much pressure.
This is the year that we needed. If he had one more year under his belt, he probably would still be rushed. But you know, if you have a need and you bring him up and he plays, you know, there are two types of guys. I feel like prospects that come up who are like, holy fuck, they're giving me a nickname and I'm supposed to be a god. Or there are guys who are like, I'm not even supposed to be here right now. I'm just playing with house money at this point. And it's obviously very hard to be the second guy.
But Zeke, you know what he is? You know those baseball savant where it has like the exit velocity, it's like red or blue depending how good you are. Zeke is like blue and everything, but it's like Juju is 100.
Yeah,
it's like flaming red.
He is a wrestler in my mind.
Yes.
Like where, some wrestlers you care about their technical ability. And then there are the guys, like, as long as they're good on the mic and they've got a good shtick, you're not looking at, like, does he grapple correctly? Does he do the suplex correctly? Yeah, his graps, 0. His heat and his pop and his mic skills,
Frank hates him.
100.
I love him even more now.
Exactly.
I hate to say this. I don't want to put him on blast, but he followed me on Twitter when he first came up, and then he unfollowed me. And it kind of hurt my feelings. That kind of hurt.
That I'll just go ahead and fabricate a story so your feelings aren't hurt. That's got to be a guy protecting himself, being like, you know what, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not followed either, and we did because we DM'd and everything, so I got unfollowed as well.
Okay, so that actually makes it. Fuck it, let's trade for Wilson Contreras. End this guy's career. We also had to touch on this because it happened again. Fucking, I swear to God, 3 games and it feels like 1,000 things happen. We didn't even get to talk about the Scherzer where he shoos the guy off the mound. I don't think he even shoot him.
No, wait, this will be our viral moment.
Yes.
Fucking. I love stupid people. I love them. Let me talk about how stupid that whole saga was. If you didn't see it, because why would you see this kind of shit unless you're a Mets hater or you're just like a Twitter nut? But the Mets, the person throwing out the first pitch for the Mets on Scherzer's game Friday night was a Japanese ambassador who was so late to throw out his first pitch that Scherzer was already on the mound throwing his warm-up pitches, and the entire team was on the field. Everybody's taking infield. The game is literally about to start, and Max Scherzer just keeps going through his routine, and the Mets have to like call this Japanese guy off the field. He's not doing the first pitch. This immediately spirals out of control with the Mets haters. First of all, I don't want to botch his name. It's like Mikoi Mori, something like that. He immediately becomes the Japanese prime minister. Everybody crowns this guy one of the most important diplomats in the human history. Everyone said he's the Japanese ambassador to the United States, which he absolutely is not. He is not the Japanese ambassador to the United States. He is.
People just made that up.
He's an ambassador that he is in the United Nations. He is a ambassador, and he is in New York, but he is by no means the number, like the one. He is not the Japanese ambassador to the United States. Everybody ran with that. It's just not true. I looked it up. His name is like Koji Tajari or something like that. Just totally different guy. Secondly, the amount of people who said the Mets snubbed a Japanese ambassador on Japanese Heritage Night, no less. No fucking kidding, it's Japanese Heritage Night. They're acting like that makes it worse. That's the reason why he was there. It's not like it was a coincidence that they had him and it happened to be Japanese Heritage Night and the Mets are going the extra mile to snub him. That's why he was throwing out the first pitch, because it's Japanese Heritage Night. That's not a double whammy. That's all one fucking thing, you goddamn idiots. And third of all, like I said, the game was literally about to begin. The first pitch is usually like, I feel like before like everything. Yeah. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but in my mind it's like before the anthem. It's before all of that shit. So to be out there when Max Scherzer's on the mound is either his fault for being late, and I believe it was more the Mets like PR team, their fault for having him be late because of whatever reason. I don't know why he was late. It's not on Max Scherzer to be like, okay, let me now conduct the first pitch with you guys.
You throw the first pitch of the game. How about that?
Yeah. Why don't you just take the ball from me? You can start. You can be the opener. I'll come in the second inning, you fucking assholes. And third of all, if you really, like, I think that's all that is. It's just a logistical mix-up for a guy that I'm sure does a lovely job being an ambassador to somewhere, but not the ambassador. I'm sure he's great. He's not the most important person in the world. This is not the most important game in the world or the most important first pitch in the world. The game's about to begin. I'm sorry, dude. They'll have you back another time. It's not the end of the world. But thirdly, like I said, if you want to play that game, I don't fucking care. Fuck you and your first pitch. People compared it to Garrett Cole being like, if Garrett Cole did this, the whole world would have fucking been up in arms about it. No, what Garrett Cole would have done is let him take the mound like a little bitch that he is, let him interrupt his ever so precious warm-up routine, then he would have given up 3 or 4 in the first inning, and he would have blamed it on the Japanese ambassador to the United States on why he fucking sucked that game. So it's either you're a little cuck boy who ends up sucking in the first inning and blaming the first pitch routine, or you're Max Scherzer who says, get the fuck off my mound, it's time to play ball, and I'll take that guy over the first guy any fucking day.
1 minute, man.
Thank you. That drove me. I woke up and I saw how many people were mislabeling him and so many holes in their arguments. I was like, yes, let me have at him.
It's a Twitterification of the world where it's like you get the little graphics card of a quote, and then there's 10 things before and after that completely put it in context. It's Deke Zuckerization, you know.
Yeah.
Listen, I still have no beef with Deke. The whole list fiasco was craziness, but like that's what always happened, and that would cause drama on Broster Radio because he would, get that one snippet. One person says it's the ambassador. Everyone knows it. I blogged it. I didn't even know it was an ambassador. It was some fucking lumpy dude like myself going to fucking throw the first pitch.
Yeah, no, he's ambassador. I don't know, what that means.
And the guy Chris Chow, who had the video that like went super viral, I saw he DM'd the week, I believe. He's like, that was one of Mac's last warm-up pitches. So update to the story. The next night, which happened at Barstool Ballpark, he threw out the first
I was going to say, they're just going to have him right back.
And then they had another person, whoever, that's the guy who got fucked. There's someone else threw out the second pitch.
Right, because that was his night, and they had to double up with this dude.
So that guy cucked someone else's first pitch. A Japanese ambassador, not the Japanese ambassador.
A Japanese
I feel like I'm in Seinfeld right now saying
which is fine. I'm sure he's a great ambassador. Not trying to throw shade at that position, but it's just not the one that you motherfuckers made it out to be. You would have thought that guy could like launch nukes from Japan. You would have thought that guy was like, well, I'm gonna go to war now because I run the country. It was fucking insanity.
It's the most fucked up thing we've ever done to Japan in the history of the United States. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on? People losing their mind. And listen, if it was the Wilpon era, I would have 100% blamed it on the Mets.
No, if it's the Wilpon era, I'm saying, like I'm Team Japan, and we are gonna start a war over it, but it's not. So they did the right thing. They fixed it the next night, and anybody making that into a big deal is a fucking asshole.
Yep. All right, so then we'll talk about the upcoming fucking war going on here, and it's the Cardinals coming up for 4. And again, this is when everyone's freaking out about losing a series against the Mariners, and then you have to face the Cardinals. Underrated. We could potentially have a beanball war, which I asked. Did I not ask Westy? I said, can we do over under half of hit by pitch for a game?
Why is that not allowed? It's just too volatile or something?
It's probably also very easy to manipulate. Fix. What if a guy just bets on himself to hit a guy?
I guess you can hit somebody very easily and cash, but you could fix anything that way.
Pete Rose could order the code red when it's 8-0, and
that's
he's
what
like,
I mean.
all right, let's just get it.
You want to talk about fixable shit? There's tons of it, but I guess But whatever.
It would've
so
been cool.
we can't do. You know what? We'll have a little side thing with us that it's not official bets, but over under. You want to put it at half? Like, will there be for the whole series?
So I'm saying for game 1.
Okay, I was gonna say because the whole series, I'll hammer the over.
The Mets will get hit once a game just on like fucking pure.
Mets will get hit like 4-game series. I might get hit like 15 times. I'll take the over on that. On half.
And I swear to God, if there's a brawl, I don't even know. All right, there's a brawl. If any Mets listen to this, someone's going after Stubby Clapp.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
prefer
fucking-
it be my guy to Kirby.
I almost want somebody
Kirby.
to hit somebody to clear the benches to go after him.
Or they throw the pitch at fucking Stubby Clapp because he's in the.
Do a pick-off throw first base, back
Just
up
right
back
at him. Yeah.
And I'm so sick of these fucking people being like, well, he always threw down Pete. He got Pete from behind and he pulled him down. I'm telling you, if you don't know anyone's behind you, they can fucking pull. That's the whole thing about a tabletop. You just tap someone and you have someone under them. They fall every single time.
If something happened to Pete, who is, by the way, in full-blown, like, protect at all costs. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
That ball he hit the other night. Wait, when was the last time we did that?
No,
Was that
Friday
Mariners
night was the
series?
game.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Mariners. That ball, I believe I read from one of the best rollies or whoever of the world's that like that exit velocity and that launch angle, I think has always been a home run for him. Like every other time Pete has hit that hard at that angle, it's been a home run. They just die. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that these balls are dead. That ball was like a Happy Gilmore drive. It was fired out of a cannon, and then it's just so weird how they. Like, in my mind, dead balls would mean when you hit it, like, right off the bat, it would be dead.
Like angels in the outfield.
Yeah, it's
type
like something
shit.
stops it halfway. Yeah, that's honestly, and maybe that is how dead balls work. Like, the physics of it happens halfway through. But in my mind, it would be like you're hitting a fucking medicine ball off the bat, and it doesn't pop. But these balls pop, and then guys are trotting, and I'm sure right now other teams feel this. But it feels like the Mets have hit like 5 or 6 in the last 10 days.
It's something I think every team in the league is feeling right now, except for the Yankees, who have 3 fucking giants, and the Braves, who play at Coors East. So
sometimes you got to tip your cap. They're fucking unbeatable right now. I mean, 17-3 in their last 20. I don't know what they did last night, but here's my spin zone, and I do actually kind of believe it. I think we kind of discussed this with Darren. Like, the Mets have been, their like steady selves. And I think that is more indicative of who the team really is. Like the Yankees started out like trash, and now we're on like this unimaginable hot streak. Like we don't know where they really are. You know what I mean? Like it feels more streaky than and consistent the way we have been. So I'm like if I was the Yankees right now, I'd be like, unless we're gonna win 115 games this year, which is pretty
it's possible.
It's possible, but it's also. But I also think what baseball, when you say that's baseball, it's more likely that you're gonna have you lose 9 out of 10 to even things out because that's just usually how baseball works. I'd rather just be, still in that 23-12 or whatever we are. Like win. I mean, what'd you say the other day? It's like we haven't had more than 3 losses. We haven't had a winning streak over 3, but we haven't had a losing streak over 2.
We've lost back-to-back games one time this year.
The
That
whole
was
season.
the 4th and 5th games of the year.
Which,
so.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that is more repeatable.
Bouncing back after a loss is a good sign of a team.
Yeah, and like the same thing when people try to point out the hard hit balls. I'm like, I think we're just a contact team that manufactures runs, and I don't think that's streaky. I don't think that'll stop. And even when it seems to, Marte goes into a slump and he busts out of it with 3 hits. And Lindor, I don't know what else the guy's supposed to do. We're clearly, unfortunately for Lindor, I think he's going to have an A-Rod type career here because of that first 6 months. I just
home run. How much did he miss that home run by? Because I couldn't see. Because me and Phil, it was like we won the World Series. We were hugging and jumping.
We literally hugged and was like, "Oh wait, it's foul."
It was. I mean, it was. A foot. It was so close.
And then the game before, he had a sac fly that was on a diving catch, right? And it's just,
little things like that. But then on top of it, still, I even said when he hit the home run in the first inning yesterday, right? Yeah. I was like, I bet the Lindorics are hoping we lose this game so they can point out and be like, well, it came in a loss or whatever. He's doing,
They intentionally walked him to load the bases to get to Pete Alonso.
And to be fair, I probably would have too, knowing because Pete would have chased that slider every time.
Every time. Yeah, that's the one thing we got to work on with Pete. But Lindor is doing what he's supposed to be doing. Maybe a little we know he's not at his potential fully, but people are he's always gonna be volatile, and or like a lightning rod. It sucks. That's a shitty career for him to have in terms of just like your mental health of it all. Because
you called it. That's A-Rod. It's A-Rod all over again.
I mean,
It's
A-Rod was on A-Rod was putting up like 50 fucking home runs, and the Yankee fans are still giving him shit because they're dirtball scumbags. Lindor is obviously not as good on the field, but the way that he's being treated is very similar. Where we always track it. He's like 115 or 118, 120.
And he always says the right things in every interview too. Like he's
nice. He's
the most likable Met I could honestly think of.
Let me ask you this question. Everyone's probably gonna say no, but would you take if I told you could have the $300 million extension, but what comes along with it is people being like, "Is he worth $300 million?" Or you get to, what do you think would like if you got 230? So you're leaving $70 million on the table. But no one's going to be like, you signed a very fair deal, fair market deal. Would you do that?
Thing is, people still would have bitched about the 230 too, so it's not like
well,
that really
what number do you think? Like, how low do you think it needs to go for people to be like, well, whatever? Like, because Jacob DeGrom, his contract is a joke, and he's just well overperforming it. But even if he had a bad season, I'd be like, well, he's
I mean, I was saying like if Lindor got like $20 million a year, people would still probably. And actually, that's just me being a strawman argument because I could feel a point to anybody, be like, "Oh, this guy's saying this. Like, this is too much." But I mean, it's not my money. I don't care. Lindor can make $300 million. It really does not matter to us.
Even Scherzer, right?
My point would be if there was a number, let's say, if somehow that happened, I would take that lesser money every single time. I think that the person you become, you almost can make it up with endorsements or whatever else because you're so beloved and then your performance would probably be better because you're not dealing with that bullshit. I think it's when you're talking about hundreds of millions and you have the unlimited money anyway, I would take lesser. Now if it was like he had to take like only like $100 million, then I wouldn't do it, obviously. But
he's also doing this in New York too, where that's always going to be a thing. If he had this money in like say San Francisco, nobody would be batting an eye.
Doesn't matter, and that's why when people say New York is different, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This whole fucking place, that everyone's overpaid here, but you have to be overpaid, or else you couldn't afford to live in this shitty fucking place.
100%.
That's overpriced. It's crowded. Everyone fucking is angry because the weather stinks half the fucking
rats
year.
and the fucking. I mean,
I was telling Clem this is the most Seattle type weekend we could have had here.
The
at
rain
Ballpark.
and all that.
Like, it's raining constantly.
Yeah,
That's I was telling you, I was really scared again. I was ready to get run off of Twitter because of fucking taking that picture with Winker, and he comes up and Phil said that. I was like, that slider is gonna be sliding, and I am. So I think we'll do how about this? We do a Blue Mountain Boy for every fucking series, one offense, one defense. Then when they come up, you're like, I feel good right now. And I think Edwin Diaz is the fucking Blue Mountain Boy of the bullpen.
Blue is your fucking shirts right now. Like he's doing it like in cocky fashion, striking out the side. I think I saw from Michael Meyer, Mayer. I got to figure out the right name.
It's Mayer.
Mayer.
Okay.
Sure. Mike Mayer said something like. When I saw the stat, it was like he's faced 57 batters this year, and he struck out like 25 of them.
His K/9 is 16.2.
Yeah, it's bananas.
I honestly wouldn't even hate extending him right now.
Honestly, that's probably not a bad idea. Do it now and be done with any of the drama, and like as long as it's not a crazy number, he has become like the anchor of what is otherwise obviously going to be a tightrope bullpen the whole year. Like even guys like Drew Smith, because even when you're good, we know you can't be good forever. I think Ottavino has thrown decently recently.
Depends decently. I mean, he did 2 scoreless innings, but I still don't feel comfortable with him on the mound.
Feeling comfortable is out the window. I still don't even necessarily fully feel comfortable with Diaz. Like when he strikes out all 3 and he looks amazing, I'm like, yeah, like fuck yeah, he did it. But that easily could have been a leadoff walk because we know how that goes.
Diaz's numbers are so fucking.
They
silly
are
this
video
year.
game shit.
What's his ERA? Is it down to 1.3 now at this rate? Like it's
which is usually I don't even fucking care. What his ERA is just as a closer. I'm like keep that whip low. But the fact
blown
that
saves versus saves. That's kind of the one thing. It's like, did you ruin my day or not?
That should be what it's called. Day ruined, like DRs or
day ruined. Days ruined.
Days ruined or days made.
And then like a night ruined. If you ruin like a West Coast save, that's like 3-day ruins.
That's like a week, bro. That's like you ruined my week.
People forget Edwin Diaz actually started out really good as Met those first 2 months. It was just after that meltdown in LA, that's when the bad things really started happening.
I mean, the home runs were out of control.
It's because the balls were fucked. We know that now.
He was probably the number one victim. And you know what? That's the sports gods, though, because your boy Pete hit 50 fucking 3 bombs that year.
You would have come and jump off a bridge because of it.
I'll say Rob Manfred's the reason why some Mets fans will never like Edwin Diaz because of the juice balls. He gave up 15 home runs in 2019. I don't think he's given up 15 home runs
since then. Total, yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if Manfred keeps this shit up, because I can't tell me people at Barstool Ballpark on Saturday night were like, that Pete, I thought that was a bomb. Like 20 people said to me, like just out of the blue, like
that's why when Lindor's home run yesterday was 420. 23 into the second deck. I mean, that means you have to fucking
Ooh, in 2019, that may be at the
baseball.
fucking ballpark.
Yeah, for real. So
I'm gonna I'll start being like one of those conspiracy theorists and be like, they put a fucking microchip in the baseball, and it fucking,
They can
whenever
literally control
It's like
it.
the Buffalo Wild Wings thing. They hit the button and it just dies on the track.
Or we're in like a
MLB Anon. That's my fucking name. I'll go MLB Anon, and you motherfuckers. I will come up with some conspiracy.
Or we got some.
I got plenty of time. I don't do a fucking podcast once a week.
I have the numbers.
What's homeboy's name? Gyllenhaal's name in Marvel? Mysterio.
Mysterio, yeah.
Mysterio's got like these drones that we think it's the sky, but it's not.
Yeah,
Some
it hits
drones
his
knocking
fucking
it out of the
invisible net.
fucking sky. Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right, so here's what I am worried about though. The Cardinals are always going to worry me. And then what's the date right now?
It's May 16th.
We gotta wrap up in a couple minutes, probably. We got that stretch coming in June. Is it when it starts? Or is
I
it
mean, even
late
like
May?
now, it's
Late
like
May?
we don't.
Starting to begin.
We only
Starting.
play like one bad team over the next 6 weeks, and it's the Nats.
And I do believe this team, the way they play, can win series, or at least like when you're playing bad ball, can still like win a game, but not if there's like any injuries or anything. Like McGill.
McGill's
I said
a big
it.
one, though,
I was
man.
the only one. I was happy because my right away was like, this dude's injured.
He's
And
gotta
then
be
everyone
hurt.
said he was tipping pitches, and I was like, oh, okay, good.
No.
And then I see 15-day DL, IL, and I'm like, I saw his mom being like, he's fine, don't worry. I'm like, I don't know, man. You don't go from like a 1 ERA to giving up fucking 10 runs, 8 runs.
And look, it was a slider that was bothering him too. Maybe he was gripping the ball too tight or something, or maybe it was the way it was coming out. But either way, I think it's better it's better to know he was hurt than just like, oh, he's bad.
I had discussed that with Pavs. Like, yes, it's better than like, I don't know, maybe you just were on a hot streak and now all of a sudden you suck. But unless this becomes one of those Mets injuries where it's like 15-day DL, oh, we're going to go day to day. Oh, wait a minute, it's worse. We fucked up the MRI machine, something like that. So that scares me. The McCann situation is, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but is a little bit scary. And then, if you throw in like one more, if something else happens, during the stretch, it gets scary.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Who makes these schedules? Who does this?
I need that like fucking like mom and dad who've been doing it.
Oh,
for,
right.
I don't know if MLB took it back for them. We have to.
But
figure
those
that
two
out.
people, they're like the people who write these Marvel movies. They have to have everything come together. You know what I mean? But I want someone, maybe Michael or somebody, Joe DeMayo, one of these guys, maybe even you freak. I want somebody to look at like the last year, the four straight series we don't talk about on the West Coast games. Those stretches, or a stretch like this, like, is it all around the league that every team eventually goes through one of these like 20-game stretches where you play like everyone's a playoff team? Because it feels like it happens to the Mets once a year.
The Phillies are in that right now. The only problem is they're actually winning those fucking games.
So is it common that it just happens?
It probably very
I
is
mean, of course,
common.
there's always hard stretches of your schedule.
Yeah,
but for the Mets, it seems like they are either extremely long or extremely hard. Not just like, oh, we're playing the good teams. We're playing like the best and the hottest teams all for the next 30 games.
It's a very normal thing. Like the Phillies right now, they just played Seattle. They were in LA. Now they got the Padres, then the Dodgers again, then the Braves, then us. We're a good team.
Right.
Then they got the Giants. Then they got the Angels.
I
Then
love
they
how
got
we
the
said
Brewers.
that. We're a good
So-
team. It's like when my son's like, I'm a big boy, right,
Yeah,
Dad?
we're a good team.
Yeah, we're a good team, right, Dad?
So like
No,
they're the
yeah.
same as us. Like 4 straight weeks of just constant like.
No, they're
playoff
holding their
type
own.
matchups.
My boy Foley from RU Garbage texted me. He said, you know what? You better start looking in the rear view for the Phillies. And I said, yeah, because that's where they fucking are. It's the only place I can find them right now is in my goddamn rear view mirror.
And the one other thing in the rearview mirror, like you said, we have to wrap up. I'm just gonna put a fucking little bow on this. I don't give a fuck about Paul Sewald. I didn't give a fuck about Paul Sewald when he was here. Frank is the only person who
Is
hated
that a
Paul
thing?
Sewald.
People talking about Paul Sewald?
He fucking was doing the Hulk
with-
Hogan ear thing to the crowd, and he said on Friday night
I
they
missed
gave up on me, and he's like, they gave up on me, so I had to like shove it on their faces.
you want to do the whole? I'll do. Fuck it.
The crowd.
Suck it, dude.
I'm with
Get outta
Frank
here.
on it. I hated Paul Sewald, but you know what? He beat us. He could talk all the shit he wants.
Sure,
I
but
don't
I'm also
care.
just like, okay, whatever, Paul Sewald.
Yeah.
Like, fine.
Like-
Everyone's allowed to talk shit.
Yeah.
I just don't care. About
If your
Paul Sewald.
ERA was like, what was his ERA the years he was here?
He was 5.50 here. It's like a 3.0 something.
See,
there.
you know what's funny though? I'm being so contradictory because I'm like, Winker's awesome doing all these things to the crowd. Paul Sewald does it. I don't know him. He's not nice to me. I'm like, fuck.
It doesn't play the
Guy
same.
sucks.
That's
It
why.
It doesn't.
Yeah. And he sucked for us. If Winker came here and sucked for us and then left and was awesome,
Sure, it'd be
it's
a
kind of
very
like
different
it's
game.
like the
Don't
Just-
give him any ideas now.
it's a Justin Turner thing though. It's like
Yeah.
we probably fucked him up. It's the Wilpons' fault. Blame it on the
A little bit of
Wilpons.
a Murphy, a little
Our
bit of
bad.
a Turner, a
Yeah.
little, these guys who thrive elsewhere. They should be happy. People shouldn't be like, if Noah goes out there and he's great, he should just be like, yeah, whatever. I got out of there. I'm fucking done with you guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I'm telling you, I bet Jesse Winker is not the only guy looking at the Mets being like, that team's good. That ownership is good. Those fans are good. I'm telling you, this is
Close
fucking
enough to
different.
home.
Yep.
This is fucking different, boys.
I'm coming
We're gonna get
home.
some free agents in the future.
You know who would believe? Jesse Winker.
Got him.
Because you got
Gotta believe.